Next up is margin, which is the distance between different elements. So let's get into it. I already did a little bit of this. I apologize. I didn't realize that the thing wasn't recording. So yeah, I am definitely perfect. So margin top, 60 pixels. Let's run that. And then you can see the difference between here. Now there is a distance between those two paragraph elements. But if I do margin bottom, 60 pixels, what do we expect? Well, it's going to be the same. Why is it the same? If we have 60 pixels and 60 pixels, so on top of this is going to be 60, and below this it's going to be 60, why is having 60 pixels, having it on both, the exact same as each other? So that's the interesting aspect of margin and how it differs from padding. Margin in the vertical axis will collapse to the maximum value. And so if you have 60 pixels and 20 pixels, the margin will actually be 60 pixels. This is not the case for horizontal. It'll always be whatever it adds together to, but margin top and margin bottom will collapse to whatever the largest value is and not cumulative. So that's why I have this error here, is because I was trying to demonstrate that, and then I realized I wasn't recording. So anyway, so looking at the three red boxes from at the bottom of the page, share and share A do have a margin of 10 pixels. So share and share A, margin, set these, share A elements, okay, margin 10 pixels. So this will move them apart by 20 pixels and move them up and down. This will move them down 10 pixels. So if I run that, they have moved down and are moved apart by 20 pixels. Yay. So now let's go to the next. So margin shorthand, you can, instead of doing margin top, right, bottom, left, you can do the same thing and have it be top, right, bottom, left, or if you get rid of these two values, it'll be Y and X. So let's take a look at this. Wait, if the left and right side. Oh, yeah, so this is just saying top, right, bottom, and then left is implied. It's the same thing as 12 pixels. And as we stated before, X and Y values. So using the two values, set the H2 top and bottom margins to 30 pixels and the left and right margin to 20 pixels. H2, H2, there we go. So margin, top, what? Rude. That's offensive. Come on. Why'd you do that? H2. Margin, 30 pixels, left and right is 30 pixels, top and bottom. So 30 pixels, 20 pixels. All right, and let's run that. Yay, it works. I don't know what that changed. Some H2s somewhere, I don't know. Okay. And then the next thing that's interesting, if you want something to be in the middle, or if you want, if you want something in the middle, you could try to calculate the width of the screen and then try to find the width of the element and then set the margin left to be equal to the half of that minus half of the element. Like, you could go through all of that calculation, but there's actually something that's already there for you. So if you set pull quote class to be 350, basically that's what the auto thing does. So this is saying, let's automatically set this to be in the middle using margin. So it'll probably demonstrate. Yep, it'll demonstrate that in a second. Pull quote, wherever you are, pull quote, there you are. Set the width to be 350 pixels. Width, 350 pixels. I wonder what the pull quote is. Let's take a look. Okay, the league embrace is, that's this thing. All right. So if I run this, now this will be 350 pixels. And then I'm going to set that margin to be auto. And I could do, where are we? Okay, so it'll be margin 0 pixels auto. And that is saying the top and bottom will be 0, and then the left and right will be auto. So if I run that, this will be in the center, just like that. Although it looks a little bit weird because this whole thing is offset. Yeah, that's a little annoying. Interesting. Set the vertical top and bottom margins to be 0 pixels, and the horizontal left and right margins to be auto. That's what. Oh, you went 0 auto instead of 0 pixels auto. They're the same thing. Set the vertical margins of the main element to be 0 and horizontal margins to be auto. Okay, we're doing the exact same thing. So main margin 0 auto. Great. Okay. Exact same thing. I don't know why we're doing that again. So yeah, as I stated before, if this distance is 10 pixels and 10 pixels, this will be 20 pixels. But if this is 30 pixels and 10 pixels, this margin actually goes all the way up and hits the border, not the padding or the element, the border of this element. So the distance, instead of being 40 pixels, as you might expect, because it's margin 10 and 30, it's actually just 30 pixels. That's what I was demonstrating before. Okay. All right. That is the end of margin.